researchers than the CDC. Yeah, may not be saying much. It's the Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. I want to tell you guys about YREFI.com. That is YREFY.com. YREFI is incredible. Private student loan debt in America totals about $300 billion. YREFI is refinancing distressed or defaulted private student loans. You can finally take control of your student loan situation with a plan that works for your monthly budget. Go to YREFI.com. That is YREFI.com. Do you have a co-borrower? YREFI can get them released from the loan. You can skip a payment every 6 times, up to 12 times without penalty. It may not be available in all 50 states. Go to YREFI.com. That is YREFY.com. Let's face it, if you have distressed or defaulted student loans, it can be overwhelming. Because of private student loan debt, so many people feel stuck. Go to YREFI.com. That is YREFY.com. Private student loan debt relief, YREFI.com. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. That is the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. That is, again, the Charlie Kirk Show podcast is doing quite well. That is the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. Stay right there. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Email us, as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. How's your health doing, Megan? I know you've been fighting some serious stuff. Give us an update if you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for asking. So I was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer last Thanksgiving and, went through some rough treatment. But post that, I have been declared no evidence of disease, praise God. So we're just continuing to pray for no recurrence. And, now I get the fun part of being told I need to put weight back on. So, I'm enjoying life.
I want that. That would be a dream kind of prescription from a go-to In-N-Out burger. I could do that quite well. And we have lots of them here out west. So, Megan, you wrote this amazing book, Shepherds for Sale, all about how our pastors are selling themselves out to the highest bidder. On this racial issue, though, I know you've mentioned it. It's so frustrating because, again, we have a catalog of the current kind of Christian ruling class of what they did. Carl Lentz, who's obviously been disgraced. George Floyd should be alive. It's not acceptable to kill him, blah, blah, blah. Stephen Furtick. This is what Stephen Furtick said. He said, quote, he said, if you only post a simple prayer emoji and scroll on, we need to challenge the system and sickness that created and enabled the death of George Floyd. I am part of the problem, is what Stephen Furtick said. I mean, I could go through the list of just the nauseating Christian leaders, and what is it getting better, and how do we call out this from some of our Christian authorities?
I don't know if I would say it's getting better. I haven't seen any of this leadership come out and say, what, we were wrong. And they were wrong because what they did was accept false narratives that we had a policing system in our country that disfavored Black Americans. And that's simply not true. The data does not show that. And so they were backers of policies that have now made us more unsafe and have led to incidents like the death of Iryna Zarate Scott. And so what I have found mostly is that no one's really coming out and repenting of that. They're just trying to sweep it all under the rug and pretend like it never happened. I mean, look, I want to be clear. The president of the largest Protestant denomination in the U.S., the Southern Baptist Convention, told Southern Baptists that they needed to use the phrase Black Lives Matter, that they needed to lend that support to a Marxist organization that was trying to dismantle police systems. So there has been, a real cost to that. They were out marching with these people. And now we see what that ideology and that policy has brought. I mean, we can see it in Chicago. We can see it in D.C. prior to a couple of weeks ago. And we see it even in previously very safe cities like Charlotte, where the homicide rate has exploded. So as we look at this, it's really frustrating to me to see some of these pastors trying to pretend like they weren't a part of that. In fact, what you're kind of seeing them do now is reposition themselves, and they're using more conservative language. I have seen that. I can give you the example of someone like that as former SBC president, Pastor J.D. Greer, who pastors a large church here in North Carolina. He was very much a part of backing social justice and Black Lives Matter. And now he's suddenly using more conservative language, but he's not acknowledging the part that he played in that. And that's what I'm seeing again and again, is that, I think they know that there's egg on their face. But because of that, what they're doing is just trying to, they're calling it the Great Rehab Tour. They're all going on their Great Rehab Tours to sort of pretend like, hey, we weren't a part of that. And you will not hear them talk about Black Lives Matter or social justice anymore, even though they were so instrumental in promoting that movement back in 2020.
I think you're right. And it shows that we've made a lot of progress, but we still have yet a lot of work to do. And so the Christian world, I know, is becoming more center-right. It's becoming better on this. Not every pastor has to comment on every issue. The reason why Stephen Furtick is necessary is that it's happened in his hometown. Right. And so he felt necessary to call out George Floyd overdosing on drugs in the streets of Minneapolis, but something that happened in his own city. And that is inescapably biblical. It says that your city matters, your nation matters, your hometown matters, and the welfare of such. Final thoughts, Megan Basham, author of Shepherds for Sale.
Well, yeah, and I really want to point out that when they did that, it didn't have no impact. They gave aid and comfort to a deceitful, destructive movement. And so those policies that came out of that deceitful, destructive movement are exactly what are making our cities unsafe right now. And that is why we are seeing things like young women being murdered on a light rail train just when they're trying to get off work and go about their business, because we dishonestly bought into something that was simply popular at the time. And that compromise comes with costs. And we're seeing that now.
Iryna Zarate Scott would be alive. 14 times this guy was arrested. Felony larceny, aggravated assault with a weapon. Megan Basham. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com, and subscribe to our podcast. That is the Charlie Kirk Show podcast page. We'll be right back, everybody. Subscribe to our podcast. Alex Marlowe next.